All right, let's jump into our deep dive today, and we're going to be looking at the B-21 Raider.
Okay.
We've got this article from 1945. The B-21 Raider bomber, $203 billion nightmare, has just begun.
Right.
And it really kind of digs into, what this next generation stealth bomber is all about. But it also asks some tough questions about, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth the hefty price tag?
Well, and it's interesting because, the B-21, it's not just an upgrade, right?
Yeah.
It's really pushing the boundaries of what we think about stealth technology, even compared to the B-2 Spirit,
Right.
which was already, incredibly stealthy. The B-21 is designed to be virtually undetectable.
So it's like they took the B-2 back to the drawing board and said, okay, how can we make this even stealthier?
Right.
But how do they actually achieve that?
Right. What makes the B-21 so different?
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole combination of things, right? It's not just a single breakthrough. We're talking about new materials like carbon fiber composites that absorb radar signals instead of reflecting them.
Wow.
Then there are special coatings that further reduce its radar signature.
Okay.
And even the shape of the fuselage itself, with its smooth blended lines, is designed to deflect radar waves away from the aircraft.
So it's like they took everything they learned from the B-2 and cranked it up to 11.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But here's where things get really intriguing.
Okay.
The article highlights a significant difference in cost
Okay.
between the B-21 and its predecessor.
Right.
The B-21 is estimated at around $692 million per unit,
Wow.
while the B-2 ended up costing a staggering $2 billion each.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Why such a significant price drop?
Well, a few factors at play.
Okay.
For one, manufacturing techniques have advanced considerably since the B-2 was developed.
Makes sense.
And the Air Force is planning to purchase a much larger number of B-21s,
Right.
which brings the per unit cost down through economies of scale.
Yeah, that makes sense. But even with the lower cost per unit, the total program cost for the B-21 is still projected to be $203 billion.
Right.
That's a lot of money,
It is.
to say the least.
Yeah.
The article raises concerns about whether the Air Force can realistically afford such a massive investment,
Yeah.
especially with the country's, growing budget deficit.
And that's a valid concern, especially considering that the U.S. budget deficit is already close to $2 trillion annually.
Right.
So a program of this magnitude will undoubtedly put pressure on the budget.
Yeah.
And could force, difficult decisions regarding funding priorities.
And it's not just about having the money to build them, right? There's
Yeah.
the whole cost of maintaining and operating a fleet of these advanced aircraft over their lifespan.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
right. It's a long-term commitment with, significant financial implications.
Yeah.
But let's move beyond the cost for a moment and consider how the B-21 is designed to integrate with another game-changing technology,
Okay.
hypersonic weapons.
Hypersonic weapons, those things are like the stuff of science fiction traveling at 5 times the speed of sound or faster.
Amazing.
I can see why they're getting so much attention.
They represent a significant shift in warfare, potentially changing the entire landscape of strategic engagement.
Wow.
Imagine a weapon that can strike virtually anywhere in the world within a matter of hours,
Right.
traveling too fast for conventional defense systems to intercept.
Okay. That is pretty mind-blowing. And the B-21 is being designed to carry these hypersonic weapons.
That's the plan.
Wow.
The combination of the B-21's stealth capabilities, which allows it to penetrate enemy defenses undetected, and the speed and range of hypersonic weapons would give it an unprecedented strategic advantage.
So you're saying it could essentially strike targets anywhere in the world with almost no warning.
Yeah.
That's a lot of power.
It's a significant capability, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the Air Force isn't just planning to build a few of these B-21s.
Right.
They're aiming for a fleet of at least 100.
100, wow. Why so many? Is it just about replacing the aging B-2 fleet, or is there more to it?
I think it's about more than just replacement.
Okay.
A larger fleet of B-21s would provide the Air Force with much greater operational flexibility and resilience. Remember, there are only 21 B-2 Spirits currently in service.
Right.
A larger B-21 fleet would enable the Air Force to respond to multiple threats simultaneously
Okay.
and maintain a more persistent global presence.
So it's about having enough of these bombers to make a real strategic difference on a global scale.
Precisely. It's a significant shift in strategic thinking, moving away from a limited number of highly specialized aircraft
Right.
to a larger force that can adapt to a wider range of threats and missions.
Right.
But of course, this brings us back to that unavoidable question of cost.
Right. Can the Air Force realistically afford to build and maintain a fleet of this size, especially given all the other demands on the defense budget?
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
It is. It's a question of balancing capability and affordability, of making strategic choices about where to invest resources in a world of evolving threats and limited budgets.
So we've got this incredible stealth bomber that can carry hypersonic weapons, but it comes with a massive price tag and some big questions about whether it's worth the investment.
Yeah.
This is where things start to get really interesting. And in part 2 of this deep dive, we're going to continue exploring these complexities.
Sounds good. Yeah, it really kind of highlights, I think, the challenges that military planners face today.
You're right. It's not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet.
Right.
We're talking about the future of national security and how we respond to potential threats. And speaking of numbers, we keep coming back to that $692 million price tag for each B-21.
Right.
How does that compare to other major defense programs?
Yeah.
Is it actually at a line? Or is this just the cost of doing business in the world of, cutting edge military technology?
Well, it's helpful, I think, to put that number into perspective.
Okay. For instance, the newest aircraft carriers.
Right.
Those floating cities of military they cost upwards of $13 billion each.
Wow.
So, when you consider that the B-21's cost, while substantial, isn't entirely out of the ordinary for a major defense program.
So it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
So $1 billion here, $1 billion there. But it does sound like the D-21 potentially offers a significant return on that investment, especially with its stealth capabilities and the ability to deploy hypersonic weapons.
I think that's a crucial point. It's not just about the initial cost, but the value and strategic impact it brings to the table. And from that perspective, the B-21 appears to be a potential game changer.
But let's play devil's advocate for a moment.
Okay.
The article we're discussing doesn't shy away from calling this program a potential nightmare.
Right.
What are some of the downsides or risks associated with the B-21?
Yeah.
What could go wrong even with all this advanced technology? Well, one concern that always looms over any major technological program is the risk of obsolescence.
Right.
Technology advances at an incredible pace.
Yeah.
And there's always a chance that any system, no matter how advanced it seems today, could be outmatched by something newer, something we haven't even imagined yet.
So even with all its sophisticated stealth tech, the B-21 could end up being the next Betamax.
Right, exactly.
Something that seemed groundbreaking at the time,
but
gets surpassed by a new wave of technology.
Well, and that's why I think continuous research and development is so crucial.
Yeah.
We need to stay ahead of the curve, constantly evaluating and adapting to ensure that our investments remain relevant in, a rapidly changing technological landscape.
It's like a high-stakes game of technological leapfrog.
That's right.
Always trying to predict and outmaneuver the next move. Are there other risks we should be thinking about?
Well, another major concern with programs of this scale is the potential for cost overruns. History has shown that major defense programs often end up exceeding their initial budgets, and the B-21 is unlikely to be an exception.
Cost overruns, those are never good. What causes them and what kind of impact can they have?
Well, they can stem from a variety of things.
Okay.
Unforeseen technical challenges, delays in production, changes in requirements,
Right.
or a combination of factors, and the impact can be significant.
Yeah.
Cost overruns can strain budgets,
Right.
leading to cuts in other programs or delays in development.
Yeah.
It becomes this delicate balancing act, trying to manage these complex projects and keep them on track while dealing with the inevitable uncertainties that arise.
So it's not as simple as just writing a check and getting a shiny new bomber.
That's right.
There's a whole web of complexities and potential pitfalls to navigate.
Absolutely. And I think it's about more than just the technology itself.
Yeah.
It's about managing expectations, assessing risks, and making informed decisions in, a dynamic and often unpredictable environment.
It's a lot to consider, but that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating.
Right.
Getting beyond the headlines and grappling with the real-world challenges of developing and deploying these advanced systems.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the trade-offs, the potential benefits, and the risks involved in these massive undertakings.
It's a complex equation with a lot of moving parts. We've covered a lot of ground so far, But what I find really interesting is this idea of strategic thinking.
Right.
And how a bomber like the B-21 fits into that bigger picture.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
We've been focusing on the B-21's capabilities and its potential impact on, future conflicts. But there's another dimension to consider: its role in deterrence.
Right.
Could the very existence of the B-21, its ability to project power in a way that few other systems can actually help to prevent conflicts from happening in the first place?
That's an intriguing thought. It's like that old saying, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Exactly.
Except in this case, it's more like fly silently and carry a hypersonic missile.
Precisely, the B-21 represents a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used in multiple ways. It has the potential to reshape the strategic landscape, not just through its ability to engage in conflict,
right,
but also through its potential to deter aggression and maintain a stable balance of power.
That's a powerful concept, and it really highlights the complexity of these discussions. We're not just talking about technology,
right,
but about strategy diplomacy and the very nature of conflict in the 21st century.
It's about understanding that these advanced systems aren't just weapons, but, tools of statecraft.
Yeah.
With the potential to shape the international order in profound ways.
It's a lot to process, and I think it's time to delve deeper into this idea of deterrence.
Okay.
The strategic implications of the B-21 and what it all means for the future of global security in part 3.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about this incredible new stealth bomber, the B-21 Raider, and it's clear this thing is like packed with cutting-edge technology. But what I'm really grappling with is, how something like this, a weapon with so much potential power, actually fits into the bigger picture of global strategy and diplomacy.
Yeah, it's a crucial question.
Yeah.
And it really gets to the heart of, deterrence theory.
Right.
The idea that possessing a credible and formidable military capability can actually prevent conflict.
Okay.
By making potential adversaries think twice before taking any, aggressive actions.
So it's like that old saying, walk softly and carry a big stick. But in this case, it's fly silently and carry a hypersonic missile. But does it really work that way?
Yeah.
Can a bomber, even one as advanced as the B-21, really prevent wars?
Well, it's not a simple answer. Deterrence is a complex interplay of perceptions, capabilities, and intentions.
Right.
It relies on convincing your adversary that the cost of aggression would far outweigh any potential benefits. And that's where a system like the B-21 comes in.
Okay.
Its ability to penetrate defenses, strike with precision, and deliver a significant payload, including those hypersonic weapons we talked about, sends a very clear message.
So it's not just about having the capability to fight a war. It's about projecting an image of strength and resolve that makes your opponents think twice before starting one.
Exactly. It's about shaping perceptions and influencing decision-making on the international stage.
Mm-hmm.
And the B-21, with its combination of stealth, range, and payload, is a very powerful tool in that regard.
But couldn't that kind of power be destabilizing? I mean, if one country has this kind of advanced technology, won't others rush to develop their own, leading to like a kind of arms race?
Yeah, that's a valid concern. Technological advancements in the military sphere often have a ripple effect, prompting other nations to develop countermeasures or their own advanced systems.
Right.
It's a constant push and pull,
Yeah.
a dynamic that can be difficult to manage.
So it's like a high-stakes game of chess, with each side constantly trying to anticipate the other's moves and stay one step ahead.
That's a good analogy. And it highlights the importance of not just developing advanced systems, but also of engaging in dialogue, diplomacy, and arms control efforts to prevent these technological advancements from spiraling into, a destabilizing arms race.
That sounds like we're walking a tightrope here, trying to maintain a strong deterrent while also avoiding a situation where everyone feels threatened and starts, stockpiling even more powerful weapons.
It's a delicate balance, no doubt, and it underscores the importance of clear communication, strategic thinking, and a commitment to finding peaceful resolutions to international disputes.
So the B-21 Raider, this incredible feat of engineering and technology, isn't just a weapon. It's a piece of a much larger puzzle, a puzzle that includes diplomacy, strategy, and the constant challenge of maintaining peace in a world where technology is constantly evolving.
That's a great way to put it. And it brings us back to the article we started with. While it focuses on the B-21's capabilities and potential costs, it also hints at this broader context. The B-21 is a powerful symbol of the complexities of 21st century security challenges that require not just technological innovation, but also thoughtful consideration of the strategic and diplomatic implications.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. We've gone from the nuts and bolts of stealth technology to the intricacies of deterrence theory and the delicate balance of power on the global stage. It's a lot to take in, but it's clear that the B-21 Raider is more than just a new bomber. It's a catalyst for a much larger conversation about the future of warfare, diplomacy, and the role of technology in shaping our world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.